7.
Yes, ma'am, we couldn't get so well.
Yeah, let's go on. You are provided with info taken from the books of Kroonstad Kane, Furnishings. The year ends 28 February. Do the note for direct or prime cost. Now, can you see they don't say calculate. They say do the note, so this is formal. Calculate the factory overheads. This is informal. Can you see the difference? Okay. So now, direct material. Can you see they give me the... And you have to know this. Because you cannot think that it will be there. Because maybe it won't. Okay? But we also have to do... Oh, so this is all. So now, I look at my balances. Stock of raw material. First thing I do is I check the years on the top. I see this is closing and this is opening. Please, guys, do not look.
Come on, look.
Okay, so opening stock. The opening is 795,300. The closing is always in brackets. 620,300. Okay, let's go on. Now, let's finish the raw materials. I see there, I purchased what I do not know. I had carriage of 31. There's no customs because I didn't import. So now I go look, they give me additional info. So the additional info says raw materials bought for 150 were mistakenly posted to indirect materials. So I know I've got 150 that should be here. The returns of raw materials amounted to 4% of the purchases. Where's the returns? Oh, I didn't see it. There's the returns. Ne? There. Returns of raw material, 45. So now they say the returns amounts to 4% of purchases. These purchases does not include the 150,000. So in other words, what are they saying? If I take this returns, the return of 45 is 4% of the purchases.
So there are more purchases.
Yeah. So what is my purchases? 1. Another way I could have done it, ne? Can you see if you say 1125000 less 45, it will give me what? 1080, something like that. Now, instead of saying times 100 over 4, I could have said 96 over 4. Then it would have given me this thing. You see? Yeah. Okay, which part? The question itself. So what they say, if I had to do, let's say we do it at T like we would trading stock. So I know I buy this side, I return this side. Okay? And then I've got consumable stores. Okay, because now they say raw materials bought for 150 was mistakenly posted to indirect. Okay, so now the 150, the 150. Okay, so I'm fixing the mistake. Now they say this return is 4% of what I bought. Ne? Excluding the 150 that was wrongfully put. So that is an extra entry. Okay? So now I just do UK. I got the 4%, I want the 100. So now I get my purchases. You with me now? And you understand the 96 one? Okay. Shalene? Sure. Sure. You guys all sure? See ya? Okay. Next one. So now, what is my net purchases? 1230. And then what's my direct material cost? 1234.
1436.
Dalmatians. Okay. Factory overheads, again, it's a calculation. So I keep this column to just show my final amounts. My consumable stores, for me personally, I like doing a T. It just makes more sense to me. So now the opening, they give me indirect, is 56,400. The closing is 183,100. There was purchases of 370. And remember, there was a mistake of 150 that I need to take out. Everybody show? Okay. So, do they say anything about indirect? No, it's only the mistake. So, everything in here is for the factory. So, what is my consumables? 500. Anybody? 90? 300. Okay. Can you see I'm using arrows? You can. Okay. So, next I see salary and wages, but there's also a heading, because this salary and wages that they give me here is a total amount. So now I'm asking which part is direct, which part is indirect, which part is admin. So let's go read. The factory foreman was paid 396. He earns 36 a month. I just want to say, did you see this? Did you guys see that? So, it used to be part of grade 10 syllabus, but they took it out, but then they still test it in grade 12. So I'm going to quickly explain to you. At the end of the financial year, I do adjustments. You agree with me? But now, let's say that is, what is my date? Doesn't matter, 28 February. It means the 1st of March is the beginning of the new year. You get me? And then I do reversals. In other words, if you plussed it here, you will minus it here. If you minus it here, you will plus it there. Because you do the opposite, you reverse it back. Remember, an adjustment is just for the financial statements to make my books, my income statement specifically for my financial year. Right? So let's look at the first one they give me. The first one they give me here is rent expense. Can you see this is an adjustment? This is adjustments. And can you see this is reversals? Okay. So let's look at water and electricity. Before I even do that, let me quickly do insurance. Let me show you. Let me show you. Insurance. So let's say I have a balance of 1,300. And I say to you, I have a prepaid expense of 100. So my real expense that goes to the income statement is 1,002. Everybody is shop with that. So now I have, in my trial balance, this is going to be gone. There's no insurance now because I closed it off. You agree? But there is going to be a prepaid expense of 100, which is an asset, a receivable. Everybody with me? This is grade 10 work. So this is the end of last year. Now, next year starts. There is no insurance at this stage. It's done. Right? But there's a prepaid expense that says, oh, this 100 was paid for next year 100. So now I'm literally go to bed, wake up. Now it is next year. So that prepaid expense is no longer prepaid. It is now alive. Ne? So now I want to take it to the insurance. So I take it out of my prepaid and I put it into my insurance. So now it's alive. It is now functional for this financial year. Does that make sense? Not really. Sure.
Then may I ask,
Yes.
what doesn't make sense? You just go back to your previous page, where you have the adjustment and reverse. Is it not the opposite way?
Look at the top.
Closing. But initially we ended with 2024, and now we're
Okay. So what is this?
yeah,
This is
it's
the
not
start of the financial
Yes.
year. So meaning this is adjustments that I brought from last year. So I need to reverse it.
Okay, so we're reversing these ones.
You always reverse what you have the start of the year because you don't want adjustments the start of the year. So what is now also into place, if I give you, I ask you to do an income statement and I give you a pre-adjustment trial balance and I give you in the trial balance a consumable stores on hand, a B account. And then I tell you, the bookkeeper forgot to reverse adjustments. What does that mean? It just means I still had handy Andy left from last year that I didn't put in my consumable tea. That's all it means. So now they want to test that you know the old one, you do the opposite, the new one, you do the adjustment. So you will always, now if I go and I do accrued expense now, can you see rent only has a accrued? So if I do my rent on my page, which is now gone. No,
Flip it.
this one. So if I do my rent literally has an accrued expense. So if my rent is how much? Did they give me rent? Yes. 585,000. Accrued expense plus 45. Do I appropriate it? Yes. So I'm going to take that total amount and I'm going to ratio it. And they say the ratio is, they say there, the space is occupied as follows: factory and others. So the factory gets 2,000 and the total is 3,200. Can you see, I'm not even going to do the thing of making it smaller. It's not necessary. This isn't math. I didn't ask you to go get the smallest thing. Okay, so now what is my rent? What? 70. Okay. Everybody sharp.
I'm not wrong. You guys are.
So I added those, and that total I ratio.
Why are we getting 6-4?
Okay, let's go on. So the next one they give me is water and electricity. But can you now see, water and electricity is a reversal. Can you see?
Yes.
Meaning whatever I pay now in this year would first go to cover the expense of last year, so it's not part of this year's expense. Okay. So, water and electricity, I see my expense is 412,400, and now I'm going to subtract the 21,400 because this isn't part of this year's expense, it's last year's expense that I'm paying now.
So, if
Yeah.
we don't reverse it, we're going to think we have
A bigger expense, yeah.
than-
Yeah. And then they say the factory uses 70%. Can you see always first the adjustment, then the ratio? And that gives me what? 27?
3700.
Okay, everybody happy?
We will be with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see it, so this is wrong.
And then
Can you see there? There's also a prepaid expense. Okay, but can you see this is an adjustment, so I need to subtract it.
no.
Don't edit.
Always remember, accrued plus future minus, ne? When I reverse future plus accrued minus, I can actually show you the signs. So let me just repeat again. So the 21,400 was an accrued expense last year. So I need to subtract it from what I paid this year because it's not part of this year's expense. So if I draw, this is my financial year, that 21,400, ne, I paid in this year. That's why I'm subtracting it because it's not part of this year.
This year.
The 36,800 is paid for next year. So can you see it's also not part of this year. So that's why I subtract this one and I subtract that one.
And then next year we're going to take it out again.
Yes. Next year I'm going to put it in. So next year, because this is prepaid, I will add it to next year's expense. Does that make sense? Okay. So, what is it now?
247940. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you for that, baby.
Not yet.
Next one, salary and wages. So salary and wages, I need to go look. Whose salary and wage is this? So if I look for salary and wages, I see the 211. So I see it's 2 salary and wage. I see it's 2,110,500, and there's an accrued expense of 36,800, which gives me 37,412. Is that right? But now,
It's not 36, it's 36.
This is 36.
mine says 36,800. Oh, but it's because I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh, just stop it. Okay, so now, what do they say, salary and wages? They say there, the factory foreman, oh, thank you. I already started. Okay, so now, let's see. The factory foreman, this is definitely salary and wages, ne? For the factory overhead. But now they say he earns 36,000 a month. Curious. So let's just quickly see. If I say 396 and I divide it by 36, how many months do I get? 11. So can you see that accrued expense is his? And that casual workers is not part of factory overheads. You guys got me? So in other words, this is only going to be the 396 plus the 36, and that gives me the factory foreman earns what? 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 4. Nee.
4, 3, 2, 0, 4.
20 casual workers were employed in the factory to assist with maintenance and cleaning. Can you see this isn't factory workers that make the product? They earned 25 rand per hour and worked 140 each. So, 20 casual workers, each worked 140 hours at 25 rand an hour, and that gives me 70,000. So just write there, casual workers, that if teacher looks, and this one is factory foreman, just so that when I'm marking I know which calculation goes with what. Yes. Yes. But it's important that you show in a calculation them separate, that if you made a mistake with one, I can still allocate the marks for the other one. Okay, now, next one is insurance. Oog, and now I don't have space, but I'll make space. Insurance. Insurance, I see they give me 78. Can you now see there is a prepaid reversal? So prepaid is usually minus, but reversing it makes it a plus. So I'm going to add back the 16. If I want to tell you in a sentence what this is last year I paid 16,000 for an insurance that's actually applicable on this year. Okay. And they say they do it. We take 3 parts out of the 6. So it's half. So it's 94 divided 2, it's 47.
Yes.
And advertising doesn't go in. This advertising, you leave it out. And now I total my factory overheads and it gives me 0. No, I think it's more than 0.
But fine. 128 399.
Okay, so people are laughing, so I assume it's wrong. Or is it right? They got it right. They got the same. So let's move on. Let's move on to the Vetkoek Palace.
I'm not getting my answers, man.
So, the fat cakes. The fat cake says, hey, listen. Zibo's Fat Cake Palace. No, don't take my info away. I want my info. Okay. Is a small and popular fast food stall in Chin Street, Harry Smith. So, Harry Smith is in Natal, so this is most probably curry. Lots of strong curry. And produces delicious vetkoek mince that's going to burn yourself crazy. The owner, Mr. T.T. Mazibuku, is very worried. I wonder if he's family with Miss Mazibuku. Is very worried about the costs in respect of the vetkoek. Why? He approaches me for help.
I don't want.
Identify one unit cost that was a major problem considering the inflation was 4%. Provide a possible cause for the problem and give advice. So now I want to do the per units. So I can see, first of all, direct material went down, but here's my problem. The direct labor. And how do I know this is more than inflation? Because if I go calculate the change, how do I do that? What is the difference? 295 divided 145 gives me 150. Can you see this is more than 100% increase? Can you see that? What's my percentage increase? It's going to be 100 and something.
103.
103% increase. Okay, so now the cost is direct labor cost increased to R2.95 per unit. That is 103% increase. Okay. Now what could be the possible reason? Now you don't have to sound clever. Just go back to your basics. What is the reasons for labor to increase? The first one.
Training.
Too much overtime.
Overtime.
Training is because training,
What makes it less?
yeah. Too much overtime worked. Ne? What else? Yes. Slow production. Why? You have to give me a reason why. You can say workers are not productive. And then you can then your advice would be training. You see?
Or reduce overtime.
You guys, this is not necessarily the workers that's not productive because of their own weakness. It could be outside things. It could be old machinery. Ne? So, maintain or replace machinery. It could be load shedding. So they aren't productive parts of the day. Ne? It's not necessarily always the worker's fault. Another thing that you can say for advice is get a foreman. Ne? Someone that checks that they don't take too much lunches or that they don't fall asleep at the job. Ne? Okay. Next one. Comment on the direct material cost per unit. So, direct material cost per unit decreased to R2.10. Provide one possible reason for your observation in the unit cost. What could have made it drop? We changed supplier. What else? Can I tell you a new trend that they do in papers is they will say, provide one possible reason for your observation. They did not change suppliers.
Wow.
Because this is your most popular one. So what can you say?
Wastage.
Less wastage. So always have at least 2 or 3 reasons in your head for if they say, because now these days with internal control, they will always say, they have already installed CCTV cameras. So then you can't use it. You get what I'm saying? Okay. I think this is all.
Yes, I remember that.